Hello to all of you dear friends. I hope you are all well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to channel, Freedom in Humanity. Please subscribe to my channel after watching the video. This video is the second part of the subject of prophets of God. This video is about the prophet of God named Edris. Introduction of the second prophet, Hazrat Edris. Edris. Edris or Enoch is one of the prophets. The Quran calls him one of the great prophets who has reached a high position. Some commentators on the Quran and Muslim historians have equated Edris with Enoch or Hanuk, the ancestor of Noah mentioned in the Torah. Edris was the first to use sewing cloth and pen to write, and to study astronomy and arithmetic. His job was tailoring and his house was called Sali Mosque. Reason for naming Edris. There are three theories in this regard. Some have attributed the word Edris to lessons, citing his extensive knowledge or practice in teaching, and the fact that he has taught more than 30 scriptures. He is called Edris because he reads and teaches books a lot. Others have taken the word Edris from the word lessons to mean hiding, citing the sudden disappearance of Edris. Some say Edris is a non-Arabic noun and cannot be derived from lessons. According to Edris, Hermes is the mediator between the gods and man in ancient Greece. According to another theory, he is the same person named in the Torah of Enoch and his father's name is Bard ben Malil. And because the name Edris is derived from the Arabic of the Torah, and the cost of letters in Arabic differs from the cost of letters in Hebrew, such a difference has arisen in his name. Regardless of the fact that Enoch and Edris are really one or two people, all Muslims consider and respect Enoch as one of the first divine prophets. Some believe that Edris was also called Hermes and others believe that the Arabic word Hermes is Greek Hermes, and Hermes in Greek means Mercury. Others state that his name was Thermus in Greek and Enoch in Hebrew, which means Enoch, and that God Almighty named him Edris in the Arabic book Mobinesh. Biography, Diary. There is a lot of disagreement about Edris's life and fate, and the material available is not very reliable, and some believe that most of what is said about Edris is Israeli. Lineage. Edris is the head of many prophets who were sent before Noah. Some believe that there is a 5-generation gap between Edris and Adam. And he is the ancestor of the father of Noah. His name is in the Torah of Enoch and many narrations have been narrated about his ascension. Edris has been mentioned in the lineage of the Prophet of Islam, although some have not accepted this and believe that since Edris called Prophet Muhammad al-Saleh on the night of Ascension, then he cannot be one of the ancestors of the Holy Prophet. It is probable that the words of Edris were due to humility and respect. Birth. The image of the meeting of the Prophet of Islam with Edris and Noah in the Ascension. This image was prepared in the school of Herat and the Ascension of Mir Haydar's letter related to the 15th and 9th centuries. Some consider Egypt negative to be the birthplace of Edris, and some say it was born in Babylon. He grew up there and studied with Seth ibn Adam, his grandfather's grandfather. But when Edris grew up, God honored him with prophecy, but because most of the people of Babylon disobeyed and opposed him, he decided to move with those who believed in him and go to another land. After leaving Babylon, they went to the Nile River and the land of Egypt. In addition to teaching religious teachings to his people, Edris taught them the etiquette and method of urban planning, civil policy, and its rules. Children. According to historical books, the prophet Edris had several children. Only the names of Methuselah, Nachora, and Harkesil are recorded in the books. Prophecy. Edris is the third prophet of God who was commissioned to lead the tribe of Cain, who committed evil deeds and were polytheists and idolaters. He called the people to truth and monotheism and asked them to follow the law of Adam and Seth towards each other. Act with justice and fairness and do not neglect the weak. Be ready for jihad against the enemies of religion, and hurry to help the poor by paying zakat, and do not forget to fast on the promised days. Finally, there is a difference of opinion about the life of Edris. Some believe that Edris lived on earth for about 300 years. There are also differences about the end of his life or the end of his work on earth. According to some accounts, Edris chose 100 of the best from among his followers, and from among 100, 70, and from 70, 10, and from 10, 7. Edris prayed with these 7 distinguished people and addressed the mystery and need of God. They continued to worship God with Edris until God raised Edris' soul to heaven. Some have said about the end of Edris, because he saw the sins of Cain's children and asked God to raise him to himself, and God answered, and he now lives in the 4th or 6th heaven. According to the narration, the reason why Edris was taken to heaven was that an angel gave him the good news of accepting deeds and forgiving slips. He also wished to be alive. The angel asked, "Why do you wish to live?" He said, "In order to give thanks to the truth, because during my life, I prayed that my deeds would be accepted. While I have achieved my goal, I want to give thanks to God." The angel spread his wings and embraced him and carried him to the heavens. Edris in the Quran. Edris is one of the 26 prophets mentioned by God in the Holy Quran. The Holy Quran mentions Edris twice in the Quran, and considers him an honest, patient, and righteous prophet with a high status, and announces his entry into divine mercy. This is while in the Old Testament, Edris is mentioned in general and he is referred to by titles such as Conduct with God and Living with God. According to verses and hadiths, some believe that God raised him to some of the heavens 4th or 5th or 6th. It has also been narrated from a very learned scientist that the meaning of elevation is not a place in relation to Hazrat Edris, but the meaning of elevation in the verse of elevation is his position and rank. Edris features. According to historical narrations in Islamic books, Edris was the first person to sew, and wear clothes, and the clothes of the people until that time were made of the bark or leaves of trees. He was also the first to use the pen for writing and to study astronomy and arithmetic. Hence Edris is considered to be the first teacher of man, and the basic principles of any science are attributed to him. For this reason, human beings in the fields of astronomy, geometry, philosophy, arithmetic, logic, and wisdom are indebted to him. Another characteristic of Edris is his worship every day and night. It is narrated that he was an ascetic and a worshipper, and he glorified God thousands of times every day. He worshipped and glorified God during the day and rested some nights. He was always busy praising, glorifying, praising, and glorifying God while sewing clothes. Edris in the narrations. In response to Abu Dhar's question about the number of books that God has revealed, the Prophet said, 104 books. He revealed 50 scriptures to Seth, 30 scriptures to Edris, 20 scriptures to Abraham, and the Torah, the Bible, the Psalms, and the Criterion. And the Prophet also said, the first person to write with a pen was Edris. Some believe that in the Musharraf of Edris, the Holy Prophet of Islam is mentioned as Baha'u'llah. In part of this Musharraf, it is stated, I did. They are my friends. For them, I have chosen the Prophet Mustafa and Amini as Mortaza. So I made Mustafa a prophet, and I made them helpers and supporters. They are a nation that I have chosen for my Prophet Mustafa and Amin Mortaza. Thank you dear friends for watching this video. Please support me by subscribing, liking, activating notifications for future videos, your comments, and introducing this channel to your friends. Be happy in any case. Freedom in humanity.